today we want to take you with us to see how we examine an apartment for investment in Portugal.
It depends on the type of the investment. Sometimes we are looking for something to construct or to renovate, and sometimes the investors would like something that it's more convenient, something that is in a good condition or even renovated or even under construction, and you will get something new. So here we are about to see a property that basically it's in a good condition. We bought it almost 2 years ago.
I think that one of the most important things that when we examine an apartment for investment is actually three things, and it's location, location, and location. So now basically we are in a really cool area. It's called Coveiros, and we are 1 minute away from the house that we see now. This location basically it's very central. We have here a lot of coffee places, a lot of bars, a lot of young movement that's coming here. We also 3 minutes away from the most central street of Santa Catarina that has all the Pull & Bear, Zara, and all the shopping area center. Basically, if I go another 10 minutes down, I'm already in the most historical center of Porto. It's also a very cool residential area that you can meet a lot of local people and hang around in these cool places. So one of the most important things as well is to be close to public transportation. So what we have here is the metro of Campo 24 de Agosto, just 3 minutes away from the apartment.
We also have here the central station of the bus, which means that everybody that arrived from Lisbon or from other places in Portugal will arrive here.
I think that also when we look for a property for investment, a lot of people bought apartments in the historical center of Porto, near all the tourism and all the attractions of Porto. But I think what is important to remember that when you have an apartment in this location, it's aimed only for Airbnb. And when we choose apartments, it's very important for us to choose a neighborhood that also will rise with the years and will have the benefit of appraisal of the prices. But also have the benefit that you can rent it also for Airbnb and also for long-term rentals.
Exactly. It's all about flexibility. We saw it also due to the COVID. For us, it was quite easy to convert from short-term to long-term, while we have a lot of colleagues that they have properties in the historical center, and it was very hard for them to do this conversion.
So let's go inside and see how we examine this specific property.
Come with us.
This house actually I really like because it's a semi-detached house. It's called moradia in Portuguese, and it's actually kind of like a country house in the middle of the city center. So it's really cute, it's really fun, it gives you kind of a feeling of countryside. And one of the benefits of it as well, that we don't have another floor above us, that you can actually make an architectural project and build another floor. But it's super cool.
Exactly. What is also special about this kind of houses, it's the character of it. Once you go in, it's also very important when you're examining a house, just to feel it, just to feel the vibe of it, to think, I would live here. In Porto in general, you have some architectural downside, I would say. Usually, you will have another building in the right side and another building in the left side, which means that you're not gonna have windows. Here in this house, what we really liked, that you have a claraboia. Basically, you have a huge window in the middle of the living room, right above the dining area, which bring a lot of lights and character to this house. So one of the disadvantages of houses in Portugal, maybe even specifically in Porto, it's that usually it's not well isolated, which means that sometimes it can be very nice outside, but once you will go inside the apartment or the house, it will be very cold. We have a few friends that are coming from Germany and they are pretty suffering in the winter time. This is why when we are examining an apartment, usually we will look for the windows, we will look for the heating system. So what we really liked about this apartment is that it has a central air conditioning that basically, as you can see, it's going all over the house, which bring a lot of advantages to this house. Another thing that it's helping with it, that when you have a central air conditioning, it's helped a lot with the humidity. In Porto, It's kind of a wet city, I would say. Pretty much of 50% days of rain. This is why when you have a temperature system in the house that control the temperatures, it's helping a lot with preventing the humidity.
One of the things it's super important to check as well when you purchase a house in Portugal is the energy certificate of the house. The energy certificate is something very common, let's say in whole Europe, I think, that gives you basically a score for your house. It goes from A+ to F, that it's the worst condition of the house. The energy certificate basically measures the conditions of the house. What is the condition of the electricity, the condition of the water, the condition of the isolation, and what is the condition of the windows in the house to keep it thermic, to keep it sound isolated. So let's check it out and see it. For example, with those windows, we can see that those windows are double glazed windows. So when I close those windows, it will also keep the warmth inside. It will also keep the sound of the street outside. And it's something that is very basic to change if you buy an unrenovated apartment, because it upgrades your house a lot, and the energy certificate of your house will be higher and higher. It is important to mention that only new houses in Portugal and maybe in all Europe can reach the level of A or A+. But if you buy an apartment for renovation and you renovate it yourself, you can only go up in 2 levels. It means that if you have a house that it's in kind of an, from the 80s, but you renovated it, it will be definitely reasonable that you're gonna have the score C, and it's a good score.
So as it continues to what we said about the humidity and the weather here in Porto, something that is very important for us once we are examining a house, it's to check the ceilings, to check the roof. Sometimes it's impossible to check the roof, and this is why we are calling an engineer to examine and give us a report about the situation of the roof. But nowadays, it's pretty easy to check the roof. Even with Google Earth or with Google Maps, you can see the conditions of the house, and you also can talk with the condominium, which is the housekeepers of the building. But here specifically, we are talking about the house. We got a report from the past owners that we saw that they changed the whole roof. We also can see that this ceiling is basically a false ceiling, which means that they lowered the ceiling a bit and they made a dry wall and layers of isolation, which keeping the house also warm and also preventing the moisture of the house. But anyway, even if you are buying a house which is in a good condition or renovated, I'm highly recommending to check especially the corners of the house, because usually the moist is going to the corners and then you can see this mold and all this kind of wetness in the walls, and this is something that you don't want in the house. First of all, it's not healthy. Second of all, it will cause you problems to the walls, something that you will need to renovate with time.
One of the tips that I actually got from my mother when I used to rent shitty apartments in Tel Aviv is that always to open the water tap and to see the water flow. So let's open the water tap and see that it's good enough and that we're not gonna stuck with a shitty shower. I think it's good enough.
So after we are choosing the area, we are checking the condition of the house, the energy certificate, all the documents. Let's talk some numbers. This house is basically a T2, which means that he has 2 bedrooms. One of them, it's a master bedroom with a private toilet and shower. We have another bathroom here. We have 1 storage room. We bought this property for one of our investors 2 years ago. The asking price was 200,000 euros. Which basically was around 2,600 euros per square meters. We have here 65 square meters inside, another 30 square meters of the terrace. So basically we are talking just of the building area without the terrace of around 2,600 euros. After a good negotiation, we bought this one in 187,000 euros, which means that we did a pretty good deal here, because nowadays in this area, you can sell this apartment easily in 3,000 euros per square meters, and even 3,500, it's not something that's going to be so hard.
One last tip that we have to give you for renovated apartments is to bring an engineer to give you a report on this apartment.
Definitely, guys. engineer in Portugal, it's not so expensive. You can pay 120, 200 euro maximum, and the engineer is coming, checking the walls, checking the electricity system, checking everything basically, and then he give you a report with a signature and stamp. And this is a very good thing to do, especially when you buy an apartment for investment. You cannot see everything with your eyes. It's something that we are highly recommended, even if it's an apartment for renovation, even if it's an apartment that is already renovated. It's something that is very important.
Except that this report will really help you to know and understand what is going on in your house, it will also help you in the negotiation of the apartment. If you now find out that you have problems with the roof, that it's super important, you can also go to the seller and tell them, hey, I have this report from the engineer and you have a problem with the roof. It means that I have a new price to propose you, and you can maybe lower the value of the apartment. It's super important, and it will save you money that you will need to invest after renovation.
Exactly.
So we hope you like this video and it helped you to examine the apartment or the property you're buying right now. If you like the video, please subscribe, follow us, like, share, and we will see you in the next videos. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.